Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Baldwin number 0494 casement fastener, or casement latch, not a latch, casement bolt, I suppose. This is shown in the 260 finish in Baldwin speak. That means that it's a polished chrome finish. It is, doesn't mean it's made of solid brass, but this is definitely made of solid brass. It's forged, actually, which is a higher... I'm not an expert when it comes to metallurgy and how items are produced, but forging brass is, my understanding, is a net result in a higher caliber fit and finish potential on the piece of brass itself. So it's not cast, is the bottom line. Casting would not give you as smooth of a process. I'm sure Baldwin would consider casting not possible on such a piece of hardware that needs to have a very nice finish. So this is what the 0494 casement fastener looks like. That's what it looks like in its locked condition generally. You know, a casement window is going to be hinged at some point. This latch would generally be on the opposite side of those hinges. Let's take some basic dimensional properties and we'll talk about where you would use it. Overall height of the base, about 2 inch. Overall width of the base, about 1 inch. From the center or the pivot point to the end of the handle, looks like it's about 1.75 inches. Center of the pivot point to the end of the bolt is about 1 3/8 inches, I would say. Then you have your detainer or your keeper. That overall height, just shy on 2 inch. Overall width, about 5/8. To the pocket of where the bolt would come into play would be about 5/16, and then the overall projection looks like it's closer to 5/8. It's going to include fasteners. I'm going to bet that these are stainless because they are marginally magnetic. If these were brass, they would be thoroughly non-magnetic. Okay, so let's talk about where are you going to use this casement fastener. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Now, a casement fastener is going to be used on a casement window generally. Now, a casement window is usually a window that will be hinged on a vertical side and will open out like this. You'll have a casement fastener right there opposite the hinges. You can see casement windows that are hinged on other sides, but I wouldn't call it a casement at that point. A casement might be hinged up at the top and swing up, I suppose. A hopper window would be the opposite. It would be hinged down towards the bottom and swing out. You can use this casement fastener on any of those window types, and for that matter, you can really secure lots of different things with it. The issue with this 0494, though, is that it has only this rim strike. So that is important to take into account because it's going to need to be for an in-swing application where you're mounting this on the pull side of the window, in my estimation. Or you'll have to have some accommodation, like a stop face, to attach this to. What I'm driving at is this will be mounted on the face of the unit. This will be mounted on the face of the jamb. Okay? So that when you rotate that up, you're going to be able to get that to move. Well, imagine if you had a casement or a hopper or any window that swung out, and there's a deep jamb and the window is biased towards the exterior. Let's say you've got 3 or 4 inches. There's nowhere to bolt it to because you have the wrong strike. You would need a Mortise Strike, and they do make Mortise Strikes. But the 0494 is specifically with this rim strike, and it's called a rim strike or a surface strike, but a rim strike because it's mounted on the perimeter of the opening on the pull side. You can have a Mortise Strike, you can have a rim strike or a surface strike. You could also have a strike that will be mortised but also act as a surface strike. It will have a large bird's mouth preparation it will fit into, except actually it's better to show it this way. that it will fit into. You lift it and it will swing out, but this is where the rabbit of the jam is. So there are different strikes available for these units to work, so be mindful. Think your installation through. Be absolutely positive that you're ordering the right strike. It happens often enough that people don't get the strike that they end up needing because they just weren't sure when they ordered it or thought they were sure. And it's so often that the manufacturers sell strikes separately is where this is. But you can use this on anything, cabinets, doors, anywhere where you're going to do basically a surface mount in both areas. It's a piece of nice decorative hardware that doesn't have to detract away from the overall look. It's robust. It's very high quality. Because it's Baldwin, it's very high quality. It has an exceptional fit and finish on it. Okay, let's switch to the screen view and let's take a look at some supporting information. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Here is the item that we are looking at. Let's take a look at some photos we have first. Here it is in its packaging, 260. The contents, multiple views of the hardware. Oops, my fingerprints. One downside of polished chrome. Does leave evidence. And your fasteners. You just bring those two pieces together and that's going to be the locked condition. Okay, now the extended description information down below talks about the size. It comes with a surface strike packaged with screws. Government type and BHMA designation is a reference to a government standard that this complies with. That would be a deep dive into ANSI standards that we will exert great energies to avoid a conversation of at this time. Solid forged brass construction doubles the tensile strength over ordinary sand castings. Assembled with special self-lubricating washer for positive constant tension and smooth operation. High-quality design eliminates surface imperfections for attractive appearance. That whole line has everything to do with forged. If you go down an internet rabbit hole on that, you'll come to the same conclusions I have. Translation, higher quality fit and finish. This is going to be available in lots of different finishes. These are the ones that we have listed here. It's likely by the time you're seeing this video, there will be several others. This is likely available in practically all finishes that Baldwin can do. And in that regard, Baldwin is really an old school, very traditional provider of material. What I mean to say is if you looked at a Yale or a Sargent or a Corbin catalog, you would see an offering of hardware that goes beyond just locks. General Builders hardware as well. The point of that is they would have given you a cohesive finish on everything. If you wanted your locks and your window hardware and your brass carpet bars to all be the same finish from Yale in 1908, yes, they could have given you all of that, and the hinges as well. Yale doesn't make any of that material anymore. But if there's a company closest to what that used to be, it's definitely Baldwin. And that's one reason that I'm preferential to them. That's a minor reason with several major reasons. So let's take a look now at some additional information. Now we do have here a link to a cut sheet. It's really a page out of the price list. This is many years out of date. And I'd also argue that it's shown very oddly as well. I would rotate that 180 degrees myself. I don't want vibration or to be able to vibrate that door to get that to fall down, which I know that it really wouldn't because of the quality of the design, but I wouldn't want it to be latching that way myself. However, upon further review, this end would be heavier than this end, that's for sure. So if vibration was going to do anything, it would probably serve to keep it locked. there you go. I suppose it's dealer's choice as to how to install that, but I'd like to think it, my guess would have been the other way. So features, we've already discussed that. Now, it hits to the heart of the matter of the conversation regarding strikes. These are the three different strikes that you see here. Mortise, rim, and surface. Yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with that being a better definition of mine. Surface strike, rim strike, and mortise strike. So let's quickly just dive into that for a moment. Okay, so you have some different window applications, or door. I mean, whatever you're attaching this to. Okay, so obviously our casement fastener can secure itself here and use that surface strike. You could also use the rim strike here. You could apply that here. That'd be another way to do it. Okay. Now, the mortise strike, however, that's going to have to be done differently. Actually. So the mortise strike is going to be a scenario where you might be out here, as I said earlier. And then you're going to mortise that strike to the jamb. It's probably how that's going to work. So that's what I'm thinking you're going to use. I've installed these in that fashion. Admittedly, though, I may have installed them wrong because I installed them the other way. There you go. Let's let the internet decide. Looking for an image of one installed. Maybe in a home improvement sort of site, but I don't see any. You're seeing them installed both ways depending on, I guess, the interpretation. I do see them installed both ways. I'm thinking the way that I thought them to be installed is the predominant method. I'll tell you this, though. Baldwin knows best. I will definitely say that. Yeah, this is shown Baldwin's way. And I mean Baldwin knows best because these folks have decades of experience, and I have been able to leverage their graceful, accommodating, patient company policy when it comes to calling and speaking to them. They're just such helpful people. It's not unrivaled in the industry, but in their line of work, it's exceptional. Okay, so anyway, your own interpretation. I am going to say that Baldwin likely has that exactly the way they intended it to be installed. So, study your mounting type, select the proper strike, and order it correctly. 0494.finish, XXX is finish, and then your abbreviation for the strike. Okay. Conversely, you could order an 0496 and know that you're getting the mortise strike. Actually, let's back that up. These top three are the strikes only. These bottom three are the entire unit only. If you need the strike only, as we had said earlier, that's how you order it. Then you'll choose 94, 95, 96, depending on the surface, rim, or mortise, and then you add your finish. Sorry, it's taken me a couple of redos in this video. That's unfortunate, but there you go. Now, there is a link below this video, as seen here, where you can pull up not only all of the Baldwin products that we sell by means of this horizontal navigation as seen here, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. I did discover during this video that apparently these casement fasteners are discontinued, but this video will live on to forever preserve our review of this and hopefully give a understanding of what it is to people looking at it in the future. Other encyclopedic documents are here other than the product catalog. Prior versions of the product catalog. A template book is here as well. We have a catalog from Baldwin from 1976. And I'll tell you a story about 1976 catalog right now. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. I had a client who needed a quote of 2 Baldwin mortise locks. Lock bodies, the Plymouth style grip handle, trim on the inside, and got to talking with the client about the quote and about the client. Turns out they wanted a quote for 2 locks. One lock was fine. It worked perfectly fine. The other lock, and what created or necessitated the conversation in the first place, was the fact that it wasn't operating correctly. We dug deeper into it. We discovered that there was a broken spring inside this mortise lock. And I asked the client, how old are these locks? When was, when do you think they were installed? He says, I know exactly, because the owner told me these are original to the house, and the house was built in 1977. So I said, I'm happy to take this order. That's how we make a living. I says, let me call Baldwin and just ask them if we can do anything about a spring. I called Baldwin, spoke to the very knowledgeable person on the phone. They said, you know what, though, you really need to talk to this person, a gentleman. I got on the phone, super helpful, super nice. He says, is that a blue case on that mortise lock? Is the cover blue? I said, yes. He says, I was working in the plant assembling those mortise locks in 1977. He knew exactly the part that I needed. He sent 2 of them to the client at no charge. The client was able to get that installed, and bingo. Yet likely decades more of predictable, reliable, dependable operation out of those Baldwin mortise locks. And that ties back into what we were saying before. Traditional. They have a lineage. They are fine American hardware manufacturers. And they're doing it in the 21st century very, very successfully. They're my preference when it comes to hardware. There are other people that they compete against, those that are below them in terms of cost, those that are above them. You've got your Omnias, your MTECs, your Schlegs, and whomever else below them. Not below, but less costly. You've got Baldwin. Then you have your boutique people. Rocky Mountain, many other names like that, where a pair of knobs will be several hundreds of dollars. Pound for pound, Baldwin resides in that middle area. It's not middle area, but in that area between the two, that you really get that boutique sort of situation, but you're not paying that boutique price for it. They have a tremendous offering of trim, of options. You can tie knobs and levers together throughout the entire house, whether you're doing interior privacy or exterior mortise or Cremone bolts. They can do all of that stuff, backed by people who really know what they're talking about. Any questions on the Baldwin 0494 casement fastener and polished chrome finish, or any other Baldwin product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.